You need a sacred personal space. Hello and welcome to Sober Living Snippets. I'm Becca, and here at Sober Living Snippets, we live alcohol-free, or we do our best to get there. Why? So we can heal our relationships, feel youthful again, and ditch regret and shame. And actually a whole lot of more reasons than just that. There are a lot of reasons to live alcohol-free, but that's what we do here. Welcome aboard if you're new. Thank you for joining us. I am so excited about today. Today, I'm going to talk about why you really want to consider, I'm going to encourage you with all of my might, putting together a sacred space that is yours and yours alone, but not just putting it together, using it. Okay, what am I talking about? I'm actually talking about taking the time out of your day, even if it's 5 minutes a day. I've talked about this before, but just taking even 5 minutes a day to do some self-care. What does that look like? It looks like whatever you want it to look like. But here's how I envision it. Here's how I use this time. I meditate, I journal, I read inspiring books. Those are the big three for me. I also do, sometimes if I have the time, I'll do some yoga there. But you know, I'm a busy person just like you. I don't have all day to do this, but I want to take the time. In the morning, I do it in the morning before I let my day start, because once my day starts, it's too late. The dog's awake, it's all over, right? You know, the husband's out of bed, it's too late. So I get up early and I have a space, and I'm going to talk about the sacred space in a moment. This is a concept that I talk about in my book and in other places. But let's just stay on what we do in that space first. Anything, my dears, anything that is good for you, that will help you get centered into your day, that will say to your subconscious, you know what? I matter, I'm important, and today I am going to live my day as intentionally as possible. To live intentionally means that we're not just flying through our lives, grabbing at things to make us feel better when we don't feel good, like alcohol or sugar or television or social media or whatever it is. But we're trying to live. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not expecting, we're not becoming saints here. But let's try a little bit more intention in our lives. Most of us who struggle with alcohol do not live very intentionally. We just grab a drink, right? That's what we do. That's what I did all those years. So wherever you're at on your journey, I want you to seriously consider, starting today, to take at least 5 minutes. And I say 5 minutes because if you just did 5 minutes, that would be enough to start this practice. After 1, 2, 3 weeks of 5 minutes a day, you would notice a difference. And then you know what would happen? You would automatically go, I'm gonna do 10. Or you would just end up doing it longer and longer because it feels so good. But just to get yourself in the habit, just commit to 5 minutes. Set a timer. Set that timer and set your ass down and don't move until the timer goes off. It's only 5 minutes. Now, don't sit there and try to be a yogi and meditate and go off into enlightenment, because, you know, meditation, that's another topic. I've talked about it before. I'm actually going to be talking about it again fairly soon because I notice that people are interested in it. But most of us can't just sit down and meditate and feel good. Our mind is it's too painful. Our mind does things to us and starts beating us up. So don't attempt that unless you're already practiced at it. Instead, commit to reading a paragraph or two from a really good book, or journaling, writing out, here is what I'm going to do today, or writing out what you're grateful for, or writing out what you did yesterday, or doing a minute or two of deep breathing and then going into your journaling. There's a million ways you can do this. I strongly recommend that you include breathing in your practice. You can do the square breathing, which I taught not that long ago here on the show. Square breathing is very simple and very, very powerful. It's a 4-sided breath where you sit down, close your eyes, inhale through the nose very slowly, while you're inhaling, count about 1 count every second. So 1, 2, 3. And just don't try and inhale to a certain number of counts. Just count. And when your lungs are full, whatever number you're at, that's the number you want to use for your exhale, so that the inhale and the exhale are even. And at the top of the inhale, you're just going to hold for 3 beats, 3 or 4 beats with the breath in the lungs, and then exhale for the same number that you inhaled, and then hold the exhale for 3 or 4 beats. We're not trying to blow up the lungs. There's nothing painful about this. Inhale for as long as it's comfortable and exhale for the same number, and just keep the 2 sides of the square. I've said this before, it's actually not square breathing, it's rectangular because the inhale and the exhale are the same length, and the holding on each end are the same length. So that's actually a rectangular breath. That's fine, we can do that. My point here, kids, is do some breathing, then writing in your journal, and you're done. Because if you're not a meditator, you're not a meditator. Or maybe you want to try a little affirmation. You can sit and repeat to yourself, I relax and cast aside all mental burdens. That's one of my favorite affirmations. Or an affirmation that is affirming about your journey with alcohol. I no longer rely on alcohol is a beautiful affirmation. Or I don't need to drink is another one. Or if you don't want to repeat it, you can write it in your journal several times. Writing positive statements, repeating them, breathing, writing out what you're grateful for. All of these things you can do for 5 minutes. You'll be done so fast, you'll be going, oh, the timer will go off and you'll say, well, wait, I'm not done yet. Okay? My point, kids, what you do is not as important as that you do it. Unless, of course, you turn on social media, and then you're not doing it. That just doesn't count, right? We're not going to use the screen for this. This is self-care by getting quiet and checking in with yourself and paying attention to your life. We're trying to get off autopilot here, okay? So that's... I feel like I'm really on lecture mode today. Do this, do that, pay attention. Oh, well, got to flow with the mood. That's what we do here at the Snippets. Got to go with what comes. So I would really encourage you to start your daily intention, call it whatever you want. Now let's talk about the sacred space. This is just what I call a spot in your house, even if it's not a room. It doesn't have to be a whole room. Not everybody's got a spare room. If you have a spare room, great. Maybe it's a chair in a particular corner of a room somewhere. Maybe you're sitting on your bed, but it has to be somewhere where you won't be disturbed. And it would be lovely if you can claim that as your sacred space, the place, the spot where you do your daily self-care. You can put in that space pictures of people that inspire you, or a candle, or whatever you want to put there. Make it comfortable, make it beautiful, make it appealing to you so that you look forward to sitting there. Now, not everybody's into this. Not everybody can do this, but I do encourage, even if you don't do anything particular with the space, do this in the same place every day. So if it's sitting on the couch and you're going to be alone there, that's fine. Sit on the same spot on the couch when you do this, so that what happens is when you approach that spot, your subconscious will start realizing, oh, this is the place where we get quiet. Do you see my point? We don't want to use a place the same place we sit and scroll, the same place we sit and mindlessly watch TV, and we definitely don't want to do it with the same place where we sit and drink. Make this a sacred space, a place that you set your ass down and do 5 minutes of loving self-care each day. So that is all a sacred space is. You can make it as amazing or as subtle as you want, as long as you've just got a spot. So you're saying to yourself, I have a spot where I do this. I come there regularly and I'm committed to doing this. And do it in the morning. Now, some people want to do it at other times. I honestly believe the power of this lies in starting your day this way, because then you're setting the intention for the day. You're saying to yourself, before I even get out there and into the world, I am going to take a few minutes to remember that I'm alive and that my life is, what's going to happen today is not as important as the fact that I'm here and I love myself and I'm growing and I care for myself, that kind of thing. All right, kids. Well, there it is. That is how to get a sacred space and put it to use and look after yourself. All in 5 minutes a day is all you really need. And that brings us to the fact that it is Friday today. So your due for today is, yes, indeed, choose your sacred space. If you don't have one yet, I would like you to choose your sacred space, which, as I said, can just be a chair that you're committed to using. And commit to doing, like, I won't say the second half. You already know the second half is doing your daily thing, but I don't want to add that as the daily do. Your daily do is to figure out where you're going to do this. Now, for those who aren't doing the daily do's, all of you, I encourage you to start this practice. Now, I want to remind you that for the daily do practitioners, on Saturdays we drink an extra glass of water, and on Sundays we eat a piece of fruit, and that gets you through the weekend, being able to check off your do's. And finally, there's so much going on around here, it's insane. Guess what, kids? Tomorrow, big action going on in the Sober Living community. So if you haven't joined the free Sober Living community that's attached to the snippets, I don't know what you're waiting for. Maybe you're new. Now you know. The link is in the show notes, and you want to get in there now because tomorrow is Saturday, the 26th of October, and that means I'm doing my first live masterclass. And then I'll be doing them every Saturday after that. A live masterclass every Saturday in the community. So why not come on board and join that? There are no snippets on the weekend, but you don't need them on Saturday. You can come and have a live class with me. And tomorrow's class, I'm all set for it. I've been planning it for a whole week. It's called Releasing Regret and Shame, an Experience in Self-Worth. Releasing Regret and Shame, an Experience in Self-Worth. I'm going to walk you through how to start your self-worth practice, your self-esteem practice, your self-love practice, whatever you want to call it. And as you know, if you've been listening, that starts with a decision. But I'm going to take you through it. Bring a pen, bring a piece of paper, be prepared to just settle in for an hour, and I'm going to help you get that practice started. And while we're at it, we'll probably end up talking about your sacred space because it's just so important to a self-care practice, right? Okay, so that's a lot. You got your due. You've been invited to the community. If you're not there, come on in and just RSVP me. Let me know you're coming to the event tomorrow. It's at 11 a.m. Pacific time, so check whatever your time zone is. Come and join me because I would absolutely love to meet you and hear your questions and share with you some inspiration and strategy that you can use to improve your self-worth, your self-esteem, how you look at yourself, and how you feel about yourself, because I tell you, there's one thing I know, those of us who've abused alcohol end up feeling pretty damn rotten about ourselves. And that we must overcome. Okay, I better go before I end up doing the class right now. All right, see you tomorrow. Thanks for popping in. Be sure to come back tomorrow so we can keep your head on straight. Sending you buckets of love.